What's up, everyone, and welcome to episode 16. Darn it, I do that every time. What's up, everyone? And welcome to episode number 16 of the Infinity Flux Letters Page. I am Matt.
I'm Andy.
And this is our weekly bi-weekly live show. Yeah, where we talk about all things comics. This is the digital online live equivalent of chatting with your buddies in the comic book shop on New Comic Book Day. And this is live. This is not a pre-recorded thing, so you can chat with us. We'll respond back. We're live on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, and TikTok up there in the corner. So if you guys see us, look up there. That's what we're checking out up there. But yeah, another great new comic book day.
Yep.
We're now mostly 24 hours past the first two episodes of Daredevil Born Again, which we had a conversation about earlier.
Yep.
And just so you guys know, Andy and I don't always agree on things.
Nope.
But I'm usually right.
That's fair.
But
I don't disagree.
But PDH Bricks came in early at 5:30 and hit us with a question that we wanted to start with. And this is thoughts on Snyder talking about Absolute Batman meeting other characters in the regular universe. Yes, please.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts. I would love to see that.
Very interesting question, because then we suddenly went and did some research and
Yeah.
being like, oh yeah, what did he exactly say? And yeah, it's pretty much that this year, 2025, they are planning on some of the characters meeting each other, but maybe not the ones you think, which I think is a pretty interesting one.
What's up, Captain Millennium? I like that username. Captain Millennium. That's
pretty,
very nice.
Yeah.
Let me throw this up here real quick and we can look at it. Let's see. What am I looking for? Share screen. And we want professional. There we go. Yeah, let me hide this there. And yeah, so this is it right here. And this is from a couple weeks ago. And Scott Snyder was talking about how they had a big Zoom summit. This is all back in MegaCon, and he said that we are definitely having the Absolute characters meet each other. So right off the bat, that's awesome, right? But yeah, I don't want to give away who me too, but we want it to be surprising. Instead of it being the ones you might expect the most, it might be the other ones and some of the ones you expect. And I love that. That's like having your cake and eating it too.
Yeah.
It might be other ones and also the ones you expect. Well, that's you coy. But ultimately, in 2025, the characters will cross paths and start to create relationships with each other.
I like that too. Start to create relationships. It's not going to be like they immediately meet and then it's like we're teamed up and stuff. I'd like to see maybe, it opens a line of communication where on occasion, you read the book and it's like, oh, they called out to this other one just to check in. And I think that's more interesting, because I imagine this version of Batman would be kind of hesitant
for
any
sure
of these other characters.
Which Captain Millennium, says that they'd like to see Absolute Wonder Woman meet Absolute Batman. I think maybe, and I feel like Absolute Batman and Absolute Superman would be the two that are most weary about meeting other characters, because they seem to work very much alone. Whereas Absolute Wonder Woman may be like, hey, what's up, guys? Here's my bone Pegasus. Here's my skeleton Pegasus. And then...
so people watching haven't read Absolute Martian Manhunter or Absolute Flash or Absolute Green Lantern. I could see, based on this, Absolute Batman meeting John Jones from Absolute Martian Manhunter.
That would be...
and being like, this guy's crazy.
That would be trippy. So, we've got... So what's cool is we've got... and I didn't realize the dates until yesterday, but March 19th is Absolute Flash. March 26th is Absolute Martian Manhunter. And then the following Wednesday, I think, is April 2nd, I think. That's Absolute Green Lantern. So 1, 2, 3 weeks in a row is we're getting the new wave of Absolute books. Andy and I have actually already read all 3 of the new ones, and they're all really good.
Yeah.
But I will say that these next 3 are much less straightforward than the first 3. There's a lot more questions.
They're less familiar.
Yeah, less familiar. There's a lot more like, wait, what's going on here? And, but they're still wildly interesting. Hey, Matt and Andy, looking forward to new Amazing Spider-Man. Just read the new previews. Green Goblin and Hobgoblin are in it.
Yeah.
Let's come back to that in just a second, because I do want to talk about that too. But yeah, so a little bit less straightforward, especially Absolute Martian Manhunter, which on our YouTube channel, on our YouTube channel, on the polls, there was a poll about which of the Absolute Wave 2 books are you most excited for, and Absolute Flash was the winner. But a lot of people are really excited about Absolute Martian Manhunter, and rightly so, because it's trippy.
Yeah, and I think it's the most kind of intriguing when you just see it. You can already tell, like, this one's going to be wildly different than the first three we've got.
Yeah, Absolute Martian Manhunter, of the three new, like all three of the new ones are less direct than the original three, but of the three new ones, Absolute Martian Manhunter is the most far out there.
Yeah.
But that's not a bad thing, because it's just interesting. It's like, I want to know what's going on. I want to know more about this, that kind of thing. Let's see, Captain Millennium. I love that name, Captain Millennium. Flash seems the most fun to me. Martian Manhunter has me intrigued due to the plot and the art I've seen. Yeah, the artwork, especially the colors.
Yeah, it plays pretty heavy on the Martian-like colors, as opposed to kind of a more grounded world. Grays and subdued colors.
Yeah. Flash, I will say about Flash being fun, you know,
I don't know if I would necessarily call the Flash book fun.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of questions too. You know, Wally West is Flash in Absolute Flash. That's not a spoiler. And he's young. I think he's like 15 years old. It does explain why it's Wally and not Barry. We do find that out in the first issue. But he does seem like, you know, a fun kid, but he's not having such a good time in this book, because there's a lot of weirdness going on. There's
a lot more weirdness, and there's more like tension and everything in Absolute Flash, I think, between him and his dad, and some of the other, just the situation that he's in, I feel like is more dangerous. Maybe. I would say out of those three, if we're talking which is the most fun, I don't know. I think the most bright, and I don't know, the one looks more the most like traditional, everything, is Absolute Green Lantern.
Yeah.
I do think that one, it does have some darkness to it, but I do think it's fun, and it has a lot of like big surprises.
I don't know though, because in Absolute Green Lantern, none of the characters are having a good time.
No.
After a certain thing happens, none of the characters are really I more meant fun as in most interested to read. Okay, gotcha. Nobody's having a good time in Absolute Green Lantern, but there is some interesting stuff there too. And Absolute Green Lantern was the least voted, but that's actually my favorite of the three. That's my
favorite of those three.
Yeah.
It's the one I felt like I had the best handle on what's going on.
Right. But still not very much.
No, and it has some it's like it took all the elements that you're familiar with of Green Lantern and jumbled them all up and used them in different ways.
Right.
That I think was really fun. There's some designs of characters that I won't say who, but I thought was really cool. I will say that I think the book has a more manga look to it.
A little bit, yeah.
Whereas I would say Absolute Martian Manhunter is a little more like pop art. And then Absolute Flash,
I think Absolute Flash is more just like standard comic book. It looks great.
Yeah.
And I really like the designs of the rogues. There's some rogues in there. And that's not a spoiler either. Like those preview images have been online for a while. Captain Cold, Captain Boomerang. I don't remember the other two. Trickster?
There's one that looks really different, and I can't remember who it is.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But the main two they use is Captain Cold and Boomerang. Captain Boomerang.
Yeah, and the design, especially Captain Cold. I love his design. He's got a mustache, but it looks great. The Absolute books. Starting in a couple weeks, we'll get a new one every single week, and then going back to what Scott Snyder said. And there's also another element to this too, where he says that later in the year we're going to be doing a special. We haven't announced it yet, but we're going to be doing a special that shows the secret villainous connections from the books. How the villains in a lot of our books, like Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, the Absolute ones, are actually more connected than you realize. And then, we know we got to look at the free comic book day books, and we're getting this one on the right. And who is that? I don't know. But that's wildly interesting. We were even right before this, we were already speculating.
Yeah.
Who could that be? Is it maybe Brainiac, or is it maybe regular universe Martian Manhunter punching through the dimensional rift? Or you said maybe Absolute Spectre, or I have no idea. But like that image on the right is wildly interesting. Oh, plot twist. Plot twist is Secret Agent Alfred running everything behind the scenes. Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah,
if like Alfred
cool.
was. I mean, what if it, we know that Darkseid died in the main universe. You said, I think, what if that's like absolute Darkseid? What if this is him reborn?
Yeah.
And he's kind of like a younger Darkseid or something. I have no idea. This is all just 100% guesses at this point.
Yeah, I think he may be like an absolute monitor or anti-monitor.
Oh, yeah, that would be cool.
Some kind of like higher being. But we do know that what kind of lines up with what Scott Snyder was saying in this, that the Free Comic Book Day book will show you some, once again, like who's working behind the scenes, and that Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman are being secretly watched by something.
Yeah.
Which, who knows? That just gives me like, okay, if you're able to see all of them, you might be a bigger being than just a regular character.
So yeah, this is a flip book.
Yeah.
The first part is
it's the Dan Slott.
Yeah, the Dan Slott Superman. But on the flip side, it's this absolute book. Written by Jeff Lemire, Giuseppe Camuncoli is the artist, and Stefano Nezi. Dark forces begin to gather in the shadows, forces that have been waiting a very long time to shape events and seize control. All the while, a mysterious figure watches. And it's that guy. But who is that? Who is this powerful new character? And what do they want with Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and the rest of the emerging heroes? Who knows? I don't know. I'm wildly interested to find out, though. Free Comic Book Day is coming up in roughly 2 months.
Yeah.
From today. I think it's May 3rd, I think is what the date ends up being, right? Let's double check that.
It is.
Is it?
It's
Yeah.
May 3rd, yeah.
So May 3rd, we're on March 5th. So just 2 months. And we'll have Free Comic Book Day. Andy and I will be doing a video, our usual Free Comic Book Day video, where we go over all of the free comic books between the two of us. We read them all, and we'll let you know, which ones are the cool ones and all that kind of stuff. They're all cool, right?
Yeah.
There's no, what's up, Easy Rider and Mark Davis? How's it going? So there's Easy Rider right there. What's up, Mark Davis? Marvel and DC having doing another crossover event. Yeah, let's talk about that for a second.
We haven't talked about that since our last show. So I would say event is a big word.
Yes.
For this. We know we're gonna get a Marvel DC and a DC Marvel one shot. The Marvel DC published by Marvel and the DC Marvel published by DC.
Yep.
That's basically all we know. Like It was the most offhand comment about those that they're coming. We don't know anyone working on them. We don't know anything. I'm going to guess they're probably a deluxe size, maybe 40 pages. Maybe anthology style. Maybe I imagine they'll want as many creators working on this as possible. So I could imagine maybe it's going to be a couple of people.
Yeah, but it also sounds like they haven't started working on it yet, which
that would be surprising if it's coming out later this year.
Yeah, and I think that is what they said. The biggest thing for me is that I said with my whole chest when those omnibuses came out back in December, I said, hey, guys, get this now because, once they're out of print, they're gone, and Marvel and DC are never going to work together again. Like, there's just no way they can, and then now we're getting this. So I was 100% wrong. I don't mind admitting it at all. But yeah, I don't mind being wrong if this is what I'm wrong about, right? Yeah, because more Marvel and DC, maybe it'll lead to even more books. I mean,
people always love to play up the Marvel versus DC rivalry. The truth is that people working at either one have worked for the other one at some point.
Yeah.
There's, I feel like, a better relationship with the new guard than maybe the old guard had, and are more willing to work together. I think creators are less, we're seeing less under contract creators to only work for one company.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of people who have books at multiple things, like Alex Segura and some people like that who have books at multiple publishers.
Yeah.
And I think, that just goes to show that, like, maybe this isn't as surprising. Maybe this is not a big deal that they can work together.
Right. And I mean, why not? I mean, you're leaving money on the table, basically. I mean, it sounds like they've got a good arrangement. Marvel's publishing one, DC's publishing one. And I mean, that sounds fine to me. I mean, yeah. So that's what the fans want. They're giving the fans what they want. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that at all. So I'm totally on board for it. I can't wait to see it. I know this would never happen. It seems like Absolute and the new Ultimate Universe would best cross over for money's sake due to their popularity. That would be huge, right? I don't know.
It's a little bit of a hat on a hat.
Yeah, I don't know if it would work, from a story perspective, since the Absolute Universe is so brand new and they're still, I don't want to say finding their footing because they're great, but they're still, they're still babies.
They haven't even met each other yet, much less met people from another universe.
But that would be awesome. Like Absolute
Maybe
Superman.
Give it a year or two, and we might see something like that.
I mean, like because the Absolute books are DC's top selling books, and the Ultimate books are Marvel's top selling books. Let's put them together and see what happens. Oh yeah, Maker breaks out of prison and attacks Superman.
I'd like to see Maker meet Lex Luthor.
Yeah,
I think there would just be a battle of who thinks they're smarter.
Or maybe like Maker and Darkseid or something. Yeah. I mean, Lex Luthor would be good too, but like Maker is like, I feel like he's like not, Lex Luthor is just like really smart, but Maker is like, I'm affecting worlds. I'm jumping universes and changing worlds and that kind of thing. So it's like you got to put him up on like one rung higher or something like that. Let's go back to where was it here? Amazing Spider-Man. Looking forward to new Amazing Spider-Man. Just read the previews. Green Lantern. Green Lantern. There's your crossover right there. Green and Hobgoblin are in it. So we've talked about it a little bit before. There are 4 preview pages online, not leaks. There's official previews. They're also in the Marvel free preview catalog. Full art by Pepe Larraz. And visually, they look fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I want my Spider-Man book to look like. Story-wise, no idea. Joe Kelly's had he's written Spider-Man before. He's had a couple of miniseries that I can think of that I didn't really love. The Spider-Man Nonstop, I didn't care for that one. But he's done some runs on like Amazing Spider-Man and some other books too, which were fine. So, if I can take my retailer hat off and put on my fan hat, there's nowhere for Amazing Spider-Man to go but up, right? I say that as a fan, as an actual reader of these things myself. I don't love the current run, so I'll take anything. Yeah. I'll literally take anything at this point. And with Pepe Larraz doing the artwork that we see in those preview pages, I mean, I think it looks good. I think the story is interesting. There's some villain powering up other Spider-Man villains.
Rhino looked amazing in it.
Yeah.
There's only one thing that Spider-Man does in the preview pages I don't love. It felt a little jerkish of Peter. But overall, I am interested in this, and it looking like Pepe Larraz is on at least maybe the first story arc.
Yeah.
I think we've seen through issue 6 maybe that he's on board for that. Mm-hmm. That's good enough for me right now to check it out. But we'll have to see. It looks like they're going kind of cosmic in the latter half around issue 6.
Oh, right. Well, wasn't it? Didn't they already solicit like number 11?
Or maybe it was 11 or something.
They said it's legacy number 975 or something like that. So 11 is way far. I don't know. That won't even. Well, it's not monthly. It's bi-weekly, right?
I think so.
So yeah, we'll get 11 this year, I guess, but not till much later.
Yeah.
But I was kind of surprised to see that. I was like, wait, it's not even out. You're already talking about number 11, but I guess they were like hyping it up.
Yeah.
975.
But yeah, we're excited about it. We'll see if Green Goblin's in it because they're saying Norman Osborn is, normal now and everything. And then Hobgoblin, there's a chance he's going to be in there. But the cover just has everybody on it. But I would love to see Hobgoblin return.
Yeah, I like Hobgoblin quite a bit. Yeah, Norman Osborn, it does say, like, what's Norman Osborn doing now that he's free from the Goblin Serum? If Green Goblin's in it, maybe it's somebody else.
Yeah.
maybe you got your. I like Hobgoblin being a Miles villain.
Yeah,
he popped up in the Miles run, maybe about a year ago. I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, I'm on board for it. I'm definitely gonna check it out. We'll definitely read it. We'll cover it on our
fairly soon.
I think it's the 19th of April, right?
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's April. Maybe it's not that far out, but it's definitely April. So we've got at least 3 or 4 weeks before anything. Yeah, but I'm super pumped for it. Daniel Santini, how's it going? Have you heard anything about a trade paperback for Absolute Batman 1 through 6? So I was just looking. I don't know that it's been announced yet, but I want to say they announced the Absolute Wonder Woman trade, and it's actually the first 7 issues, which makes me think there's like a 2-issue deal after, because the first story arc just wrapped up, and I think they're going to stick 2 more issues in that, which is like its own 2-issue thing. Absolute Batman. Yeah, I'm not sure if they've announced that yet. Obviously, there's going to be one.
Yeah, and it'll be they'll announce it fairly soon, just because they'll be wrapping up those 2 issues in between, and then they'll be doing that.
Yeah, I do kind of feel like what was that? Oh, that's just the. Oh wait, maybe it's down here. I do kind of feel like it might be a little bit later, because they're going to put the first 7 issues in it, right? Well, wait a minute. Maybe it's the first 8, because this first story arc was 6 issues, because we had that 1 interlude issue, and then the next 2-part thing with Mr. Freeze is going to be 7 and 8. I feel like the trade
maybe you won't hear about it until closer to those 2 coming out.
Yeah, because the solicitations only go out to, we only know what's coming out through May, right?
Mm-hmm.
We should be getting June solicitations in a couple weeks, probably. Let's see. So if we haven't had 6 yet. 6 will be this month. 7 in April, 8 in May. So we might hear about it maybe in the solicitations later that come out later this month for June, or it might be another month. So there will be there will be a trade for sure, but nothing yet, just because they're not even wrapped up with this first story arc yet. I was hoping maybe there would be one.
We got a question on TikTok, just starting Radiant Black today. Any opinions on it? I read Radiant Black through maybe the first 2 volumes, issue by issue as it came out. I really liked it, but I had a hard time keeping up once they started to introduce Radiant Red and Radiant Pink and all the other massive verse.
Yeah. So I think I just bought the new issue of Radiant Black last week. I think it's very cool. I will say it is a very slow burn. Reading it issue to issue was a little bit frustrating sometimes, because there were some issues where nothing really happened. But if you just started, if you're reading it collected, then I think you're in for a treat. They just wrapped up their first big story called The Catalyst War, which ran for 10 issues. And I don't want to say too much about it if you just started. I don't want to say too much without spoiling anything, but it had a very cool concept to it. I only read the first part of it, though. I have all the issues at home. I just haven't read them yet. But yeah, it's kind of sort of reminds me of maybe Invincible meets Power Rangers. Because it has that sort of
the colors.
Yeah, the colors and the different colored heroes that you get from Power Rangers, but Invincible vibes, because they're young heroes who are or as a young hero, it's kind of learning how to use his powers for the first time and figuring out what is this and who am I really, and do I have what it takes to be a hero, that kind of thing. So maybe early Invincible vibes, maybe I should say. But yeah, because somebody asked me I was doing a TikTok live the other night, and somebody said, I really like Invincible. What else can I try? And I recommended Radiant Black. I said, try that out. And it's part of a whole connected universe called the Massive Verse, with another book called Rogue Sun, which I actually dropped because I didn't like the main character. He was super unlikable. There is a book called Dead Lucky. There is Inferno Girl Red, which I think was only 3 kind of oversized books, which I thought was really cool. There seems like there's another 1 or 2 that I can't quite put my finger on.
Radiant Pink miniseries.
Yeah, Radiant Pink, Radiant Red. But yeah, Radiant Black, try it out, man. Especially if you're reading collected. I think it is better suited for collected because of those slow spots. If you're reading collected, you can just keep going straight on through those.
I do want to say, since we're kind of on Invincible, side thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Before, because we've got some really good questions down here. But I did want to say that I was on the retailer call with Robert Kirkman, Ryan Otley, the editors, everything of Battle Beast #1. And let me just say, we've read the first 2 issues of Battle Beast.
Holy cow.
1 is great. 2 is
greater.
Phenomenal. Yeah. It is everything you love about Invincible, the over-the-top action, the violence, but with a sense of humor.
Yep.
Like, it's ridiculous.
Yep.
That is fantastic. They let us know about a lot of surprises coming in the series that everyone you'll want to be checking out.
Yeah.
We're sworn to secrecy, but also I did want to say we do know about the special cover thing. They let us know about the blind bag cover situation, or
the
blind
issue,
bag.
Was that for
it's
issue
only
1?
for issue 1.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people. There's a lot of speculation. No one will know what's in them until the day they come out and people start ripping them open.
Yeah.
Let me say, I know what's in them, and people are going to be freaking out wanting to get these. So we're not to the FOC 4 Battle Beast #1 yet. That's going to be maybe in a week or so. It should be pretty soon.
Let me see if it's on here.
You won't want to miss out on this book. If you're a fan of Invincible, if you're a fan of the TV show, it's going to be, you don't have to know, you haven't had to have read all of Invincible. What is the FOC date?
3/17.
March 17th.
Yeah.
So still got 2 weeks?
Yeah, so it's not this coming weekend, it's the following. Or it's not this coming Monday, but the next one. So yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we'll be talking about it next week.
Yeah.
This is going to be big. Everyone needs to check out Battle Beast.
Kaiten on TikTok says, any ideas on the other issues in the Battle Beast blind bags? I swear I asked that before you said it. No.
I know everything about it. I'm not saying a word about it, but you will want to get this because it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, like the book itself is awesome. And then I don't want to use the word gimmick, that has a negative connotation, but what they're doing with the blind bags, holy cow, like nothing, I don't think there's anything been done before like this.
They kept saying this is a very Kirkman thing. And once you find out, you'll know what that means.
Yeah.
Kirkman always likes to throw some curveballs, that kind of thing. Surprises that no one sees coming. That's what this is going to be. But on top of that, Battle Beast #1 and #2 are phenomenal issues with amazing Ryan Otley art.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, fantastic.
If you're a fan of like the crazy aliens and fight scenes and all of that, plus I know about stuff coming like forward. You don't want to miss out on those. And I know you even asked me about this. It is an ongoing series. This is not a mini series. It's an ongoing series. I know what happens in issue 6.
Yeah.
And beyond. So yeah, get on board because you'll regret not jumping on board with this.
And Meyer HQ wants to know, where do we get the blind bags? Well, we're not quite there yet for pre-orders.
Yeah.
The deadline to pre-order isn't until the 17th. So we're about a week out, but when you do want to order it, you can actually visit our website at infinityflux.net, and you can pre-order those.
Yep, you can pre-order as many as you want.
Yep.
I can't wait to talk about it more because I can't even tell you the number of different things in the blind bags.
Yeah.
But there'll be reasons to get multiples, and I already know people who've ordered 10 and plus. What's also great about the blind bags is they are cover price. They're not marked up.
Yep.
So you can get those, but I will say if you are excited about the series but also want to get the blind bag, get some of each. Or make sure you buy a #1 as well as a blind bag.
Yeah, right. And then, so yeah, infinityflux.net is the website. If you guys aren't subscribed to us on YouTube, maybe do that. We're so close to 4,000 subscribers. Plus, Andy and I post a video every single Friday where we talk about the books that are on final order cutoff that weekend. So not this coming Friday, not 2 days from now, but the week after that. That's when we'll be really that's when we'll be talking about this again, and that's when it will be time to pre-order that Battle Beast #1. So subscribe to us and watch that video on, what day is that going to be on? That's going to be on the 14th of March.
Yep.
Is when we'll post our FOC video talking about Battle Beast #1, and we'll talk about all this again because it's a lot of information. It's important information, and it's good information, and it's really exciting information too. Do you have an eBay store? We do have an eBay store. That's not really the place where you order like new comics that come out every week. We have like collections up there and stuff like that, like older books and things like that.
Key comics and collectibles, that kind of thing is on our eBay. But you'll want to go to infinityflux.net, where you can order the upcoming books, the new releases, that kind of stuff.
Very cool stuff. Battle Beast, the book itself, fantastic. And I read the first 2 issues, and I texted Andy. I was like, "That was awesome. I wish that were an ongoing." And he replied, "It is an ongoing." And that was like Christmas to me. I was thinking it was a mini series, but no, it's an ongoing series.
And it starts hard right out the gate.
I mean, there's not a lot of downtime. Issue number 2, there's a lot of really cool action,
crazy characters, and weird aliens and all of that.
It fits in because it's not a prequel, but
in between cool.
It's an in between, and it's cool because I actually went back to the issue of Invincible that leads into this, and it matches up perfectly. Even though that issue of Invincible came out years and years ago, they did a really good job of matching that up. So the series doesn't take place like right now. It's back in if you're thinking about the character Invincible, it's back in his earlier days, that kind of thing. And it's there's a specific bit in one of the issues, one of the early issues, where Battle Beast is in the issue of Invincible, and then he goes through a portal, and then this issue is where he comes out of, and then it goes from there into its own original story. It's so good. I can't wait for everybody to get this. I think there's going to be a lot of happy people there. Good evening from Clarksville, Walt. Good evening from Chattanooga. How are you doing?
Not too far away.
Yeah. Captain Millennium says, I'm just counting down for the days of Bug Wars 2 or Pop Kill 2. Bought both of those and love them. Yeah. So we read Bug Wars #2.
And I've read Pop Kill #2 also.
Yeah, right. Because you did the Kickstarter, right? Yeah. So we read Bug Wars #2.
Even better than 1.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And it helps to really expand that world even more. Pop Kill, I only read the first issue. And I think Pop Kill is so funny because it is like a diehard, spy espionage story, but centered around soda companies, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah.
How is #2 compared to the first issue?
Oh, it's great. It continues that same trajectory, following our secret agent characters and everything. But after the big reveal from the end of issue 1, it's a lot of fun. It's been so long since I've read the entire thing because that was a Kickstarter in 2020.
Right.
But I have them, and I liked it so much, I'm buying them again now as they're coming out.
Yeah, what a cool book that is. And then Easy Rider wants to know, have you watched Daredevil yet? It's too early to tell if I like it. Well, yes, we have. Real quick, Tim Woodruff, happy new comic book day to you, good sir. Yes, Daredevil, we got to talk about it a little bit, right? First 2 issues premiered on Disney Plus last night.
Issues.
Did I say issues?
Mm-hmm.
Episodes. And I loved them. Andy thought they were fine.
I thought they were fine. So the difference in us is you watched all of the Netflix.
That's things. Right. I watched everything Netflix, Defenders, and all the things. Yeah.
I watched 2 seasons of Daredevil. I watched 2 seasons of Jessica Jones and 2 episodes of Luke Cage, and I didn't make it past that. My thing was, I wish there's more Daredevil in it and less courtroom stuff. And you're like, I wish there was more courtroom stuff.
Well, no, I didn't say I wish there was more courtroom stuff.
I wish Daredevil didn't even appear in this show.
That's not what I said. No, but I did say that, there wasn't a lot of Daredevil in the first 2 episodes, and I was okay with that because I love Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock. I love Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin. I think the story that they're setting up is wildly interesting. I'm cool with just that. If there was no Daredevil, I would still be fine. But the fact that we have this and also Daredevil, that's awesome too.
If Daredevil wasn't in it, I probably wouldn't watch it. The not to spoil anything, but the Daredevil you do see in the first episode was phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's one of the coolest things.
Although I will say, I do agree with Flashies though, that Daredevil moves very cartoony when he's running and jumping on buildings.
That's the part I liked because I thought everything in this is very grounded, but that does give me a little bit like, yeah, but this is still a surreal world.
Yeah. This is a world where, you know, this is absolutely 100% in the MCU. This is a world where we've seen Spider-Man swinging around, and now we're seeing Daredevil swinging around. I do feel like maybe that was one of the bits they added later, because the show was completely rewritten at one point. So I don't know. That did feel a little bit weird. I still love the action, though. I mean, I'm with you, Flashies. I don't feel like it'll be that way through the whole series, though.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm not opposed to a little bit more Spider-Man influence in Daredevil of just like a little bit more superheroing. My thing is like, I like Kingpin, I like all that, but I want to watch a Daredevil show. So when there's a lot of Kingpin, I'm like, this is fine. He's gonna get beat in the end. I do love every scene with Charlie Cox as Daredevil or as Matt Murdock, because I think he's phenomenal.
He's great. Yeah,
he is very charming.
Yeah,
I love all of that. Yeah, one of the questions about I didn't watch Echo. Should I watch that?
There's a couple of references to it. But
is there?
Yeah.
Okay.
But not so much that you need to watch it, because Kingpin is a part of the Echo show.
Oh yeah, they do mention something that happens.
Yeah, and he's in it. He's in Echo more than just one episode. I mean, he figures into a couple at least, but not so much. Well, there is one cool fight between Daredevil and Echo in the Echo show.
Yeah, that's the best part of the Echo show.
Well, maybe, but it
also makes reference to a thing that happened in Hawkeye
at the end of Hawkeye.
At the end of Hawkeye, which I thought that was kind of cool to address.
Not super duper necessary. If you know, you hear Kingpin reference something, I'll tell you this. You know, he says something about he's like, I tried to mentor somebody once. And he's talking about Echo. It's that kind of stuff. You know, if you're like, I don't really understand what he's talking about, it doesn't really affect the overall story they're telling here. So not a big deal.
I'll say, yeah, I only watched like the first episode or two of Echo, and not having watched season 3 of Daredevil. There's one thing I asked you about that is alluded to in the first episode of this new Daredevil that you had to explain to me. But other than that, storyline wise, I wasn't lost. I know enough about Daredevil that's like, yeah, I get it. Like, everybody's back in town.
So this is interesting too. I didn't watch Echo. Does it explain the semi-rift between Fisk and Vanessa? And I didn't really think so. But then Tim says that it explains why Kingpin was away from Vanessa. And I don't...
The rift comes because they were apart. And then he comes back and she's like, I was kind of running this great without you.
Right, but why were they apart? Why weren't they together?
Didn't he go to wherever Echo takes place?
Yeah, but why? But yeah, that part was a little fuzzy to me.
Yeah.
Because like I said, he is in the Echo show for more than just, I mean, it's not just like a brief cameo. He's in a couple episodes at least. Right, and that's not a spoiler for that. I mean, that happened at the end of Hawkeye. Like, that was a few years ago. It does have, but Vanessa even mentioned like, I took care of you after you got hurt, and then you left. So it's like, why did he leave? Well, because he needed to go mend fences with Echo.
Yeah,
I think because she was the one that did it. Yeah. Yeah, that part was a little hazy. But they're working to bring it back.
So all that being said,
right?
It's not like I didn't like the show. I liked it. I watched both episodes, even though I was really sleepy because it came on late.
That's why you should go watch it again tonight.
I know, but I'm on board for all of them. Like, I think that's great. We know like what Punisher is going to be showing up in it. We know like some of the other characters are going to be showing up that I'm looking forward to. That. There's the character that the season or the episode 2 is mostly about. Someone. Were they in anything else before?
What are you talking about? Season 2? That was all about Elektra.
I mean, and episode 2, the character that.
Oh no.
Okay, so that I was like, oh, did I miss where they first appeared?
No.
So there's there's another character.
Yeah, now they are a character from the comics.
Yeah,
but no, they've never been in any of the shows. This is their first time.
Like that's cool. Like we are getting more.
Yeah, and that's a character who I think died in the comics a long time ago.
And someone else took up their mantle.
So
I'm more familiar with.
Yeah, so it's interesting that they pulled that character in. I mean, I'm cool with it. I hope that I'd like to see them more. Yeah,
I am really happy though that Daredevil is now in the MCU proper, because I would love to see him meet Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I would love to see him interact a little bit more with everybody, because I mean, he could easily be one of my favorite characters in the MCU.
Yeah.
In this kind of new generation of the MCU.
Yeah, I think somebody asked me on TikTok Live last night what role I think Daredevil was going to play in Avengers Doomsday. I don't really care about that kind of stuff. I would love to see Daredevil meet Spider-Man. That's about as far. I mean, like if he shows up in Avengers, fine, whatever. But the only thing I really do want is I do want him to meet Spider-Man.
Yeah.
If he never met any other Marvel hero, I'd be fine with it, because he's doing just fine over here in his little corner.
Yeah.
I don't need anything more from him.
His territory and Spider-Man's territory do cross over quite a bit, where like him and Captain America aren't really going to cross paths too often or anything.
Right.
I would like to see him meet She-Hulk also.
I'd love for her to come back.
But Jen, I would like to see them in the courtroom together.
Yeah, that would be cool. Maybe like facing off against each other. And found out the actor who plays that new character passed away, and that's awful. That's terrible. Yeah. Daredevil appears and says it's Morbid time.
Yeah, that's what we really need to see is Daredevil meet Morbius.
Yeah,
because they both fight at night. Morbius flies around like a wet paper sack.
If I had my druthers, I mean, back in the 90s, there was some really cool Daredevil stories where he got a little bit supernatural. There was some, he mixed it up a little bit with Mephisto and Ghost Rider, a little bit of Doctor Strange. Like, so he got it, it wasn't the whole point, the whole book, but he got in over his head a little bit with supernatural stuff. I wouldn't mind maybe seeing that side of Daredevil.
Or him fight vampires would be really cool.
Yeah.
Him with Blade, him with that, like the Midnight Suns type characters. Yeah. I think he works really well with them as well. It would be awesome to see like a Ghost Rider in this, in this kind of look and everything. Yeah,
that I'd be down for that. I think that sounds more interesting to me than like, oh, there's Daredevil and Iron Man or Daredevil and the Hulk. Like, no, I want like the more like the darker side.
Yeah, that's where I would like to see them expand.
They had a tribute at the beginning of the episode. Okay, I think I saw that, but I didn't realize what it was alluding to. Interesting. But yeah, overall, and it's fine. Like I always say, like what you like. I really genuinely loved it. Not just because, it's the next Marvel thing. Like Daredevil's my second favorite Marvel hero. I loved all the Netflix stuff. It was probably a 9 out of 10 for me. It wasn't quite a home run, but I absolutely loved it. And, Andy didn't love it as much as I did. That's fine too. I just love that it's there. And yeah, Blade was just confirmed to be in pre-production. With a director and new writer approved, maybe Midnight Suns soon. Yeah, I did hear that too. Something about Mahershala Ali and Kevin Feige. They finally have a script that they're both happy with. So
I mean,
whatever, it's fine.
I'm not holding my breath. That's been through so many rocky situations that I would almost be more happy to see Blade as like a TV show like Daredevil now.
That would be cool. Yeah.
But I'll take what I can get.
Or a special presentation like Werewolf by Night, like in that tone. Like
we do know we're getting a Punisher special presentation, right? Isn't that one of the things they announced was
is it?
That he's getting his own like one shot?
Oh, I don't know. Yes,
episode
please.
Special thing, which I'm really interested in seeing too, because I would like to see more of Punisher universe.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Might have another. I'd love to see that. I just want to see Midnight Suns in live action. I love the game that came out. Yeah, I haven't played the game. Is the game good?
It is good. It's like a turn-based thing.
Right.
So it's a little bit different. I really like the moments in that when you're just hanging out at the like little mansion. You go talk to people, because there's a lot of really fun references, and seeing those characters interact. You can, talk to Magic and talk to all of them. So I really like those parts of it.
Because I remember, when they first announced it, and I was like, that's not the real Midnight Suns. That should be Blade, Morbius, and Ghost Rider. But like, it seems like a fun game, and I think it's got it was pretty well liked.
Yeah,
I just never played it though, but maybe I'll have to check that out. Psyched about the Punisher special presentation. Okay,
yeah.
I would love to have that. Maybe it'll lead into a series. I mean, I didn't super duper love the 2 seasons of Punisher on Netflix. I didn't think it was terrible. The story was...
Punisher's a hard one. I don't always want to see... I like Punisher a lot. I don't always want to see a lot of Punisher because it's a pretty dour thing to watch. But I like him running around with some of these other characters.
Yeah. But Daredevil, I mean, I can't wait. And, I was thinking about, on Netflix, they dropped the whole thing all at once, which was cool. But, now it's week by week. And as much as I hate waiting, I do kind of think it's cool that we get to marinate on each episode for a week and we get to talk about it and things like that. So it's I see both sides. I don't like waiting for anything. I hate waiting 1 month from comics, right? But I don't like waiting a week. But I do like that this, because if they dropped the whole thing, it would have been spoiled on Twitter already or whatever. So I'm just glad that they're doing it.
One of the things I found myself having a harder time enjoying the recent Spider-Man show was because I felt like I needed to burn through 3 episodes at a time, that I didn't get to enjoy an episode for what it was because I was ending and I was starting the next one, then I was starting the next one.
That was a weird release schedule. Every really week was multiple episodes. That was strange.
And I just felt like I didn't digest any of them well. So by the time, if you ask me what happened in episode 4, I wouldn't remember which one episode 4 was. But speaking of which, I would love to see that style Spider-Man show, but with Iron Man and with some of the other characters we saw, because I really like that.
Yeah, that was really cool. John Bernthal's killing it lately, being in Punisher, the Bear, Punisher again. And then I went and saw Brave New World, and he was in 2 different movie trailers. Yes, he was. I don't remember which movies they were, but I thought the same thing. I was like, right, there he is again. I just saw him in another one.
It always is funny when you see the same actor in multiple trailers and for the same thing. You're like, ooh, they've been busy.
Yeah. I like John Bernthal. He's cool. Haven't watched Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Is it good? I liked it. I didn't love it, but there was episodes I really liked and episodes I was kind of okay with. Yeah.
But it had some high highs and then some kind of middle of the road lows.
It is one of those where, hey, I'd like a little bit more Spider-Man in my Spider-Man show. Yeah. It focuses a lot on Peter and his friends, and it focuses a lot on Lonnie Lincoln, who becomes in the comics, he becomes Tombstone. Yeah. That's who Tombstone is. Focuses on his story a lot. So there wasn't quite as much Spider-Man as I wanted, except for maybe the last couple episodes. That was chock full of Spider-Man. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was fine. I wouldn't want this to be like the official version of Spider-Man, the official Spider-Man.
Because it's very different.
It's very, very different. But as a version of Spider-Man, it was fine. I thought it was fine.
Yeah, the last 2 episodes were really good.
Yeah, the animation's cool. The way they kind of make it look like a comic book in some spots, where if they're trying to show something very dynamic, they'll put borders in and 2 different panels, and they'll it's the animation's well done. Love the Doctor Strange versus symbiote creature in the first episode. That was really cool, and how they called back to that at a later point in the series.
I would, if you've got extra time, sure, watch it. I wouldn't you don't have to rush to watch it or watch it all at once because it's full of spoilers and that kind of stuff. Not really. Just watch it at your own leisure. There's a lot of fun kind of cameos from characters if you know who they become. That's always neat.
Yeah, but it's I think it's worth watching if you're looking for something. If you're a Spider-Man fan, just know that it is quite a bit different though. It's a different take on his origin, even. It's a different take on his supporting cast and all that stuff. But I think it's worth a watch. Each episode's a half hour. There's 9 or 8 of them, so you can tear through it in a couple of days.
And we do know season 2 we're getting Gwen Stacy as Ghost Spider,
which I don't necessarily love that.
No, but I really like the design for Gwen Stacy. She looks very much like original Gwen Stacy. So that has me season 2 that'll be cool.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, totally worth it. All right, guys, that is going to do it for today. It is 7 o'clock. Store is closing up.
We covered a couple of topics.
We covered a couple of things for sure. But we want to thank you guys for being here chatting with us, because it's always fun. Sometimes we don't have a whole lot going in, and that's by design, because we rather would just spend this time just chatting about whatever you guys want to chat about. Because, again, this is kind of like the live stream, the online version of hanging out with your buddies at the comic shop on New Comic Book Day. It's cool just to talk about, and this is always what it's going to be like. We might have something to start out with, but whatever you guys want to talk about, we're down to talk about for sure.
Especially like today when one of you left a comment like early.
Yeah, that
gave
awesome.
us a great thing to start with about the absolute stuff. That's really cool.
Yeah.
But make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of these. Also, we do so many other videos throughout the week talking about stuff that we talked about here.
Yep.
You know, we're going to be talking about Battle Beast. We're going to be talking about the new Absolute books coming up. You know, we've read them. We can't wait to talk about, you know, Absolute Martian Manhunter in a few weeks, Absolute Flash, Absolute Green Lantern, Battle Beast, all of that. Very exciting stuff, all the Ultimate stuff. So many cool things to talk about that we talk about multiple times every week.
Right. So, so if you haven't subscribed, maybe do that already. We're less than 100 away from 4,000. Andy and I post 4 other videos throughout the week. And then Megan and Jason, who are the owners of this fine establishment, they have a live show on Sunday where they talk about some really cool stuff that maybe like collections that have come in, and they show off some cool new things that you can purchase on the website. Lots of good stuff on our social medias. Instagram is always hopping with new stuff every day. So lots of good stuff all over the place. But guys, thank you again for hanging out with us. Our next show, because this is every other Wednesday, our next show will be on this Letters Page show will be on March 19th, and we'll talk about some more cool stuff. We'll have a couple more episodes of Daredevil to talk about by then. But I hope you guys have a good rest of your night, a good rest of your new comic book day, and we will see you guys. Well, you'll see us on Friday. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks. So thanks a lot, guys. See you later.
Bye.